Yeah, this connection should be much better. But yeah, man, it's so crazy what's going on. So crazy what's going on. So Nicolás Maduro, they captured him. The United States Special Forces went into Venezuela undetected. And was able to take Nicolás Maduro out of his home country back into New York City. Isn't that crazy? It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Yeah, I think this connection will probably be better. But yeah, man, there's a lot of things going on. I mean, the last couple of weeks we had what? We had Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump was implemented in the Jeffrey Epstein documents. Now we have Somali fraud in Minnesota, and now we have the capture of Nicolás Maduro last night. It's wild. This country, I mean, Donald Trump is an unconventional president. He does what he says, and he means what he does. Or he means what he does, and he says what he means. Either or, people need to start to realize that he's gonna go and do what he feels that he needs to do best for the United States of America. I wish Canada was like that, but I've noticed that Mark Carney, Canada's Liberal Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau's economic advisor, is now going more center-right. He's coming more from the left right into the center with his ideology. He wasn't for pipelines, now he's for pipelines. You know what I'm saying? They're not really talking about climate change as the number one threat to our democracy. Happy New Year, Turan. What's going on, fam? All these things. But was I wrong or was I right? Because it looks like I was right. Once again. It's not about being right. It's about being wrong sometimes to learn from your mistakes. But the point is, Nicolás Maduro is now in New York City. Handcuffed. Brought off the plane. Like it's out of a movie. Go look at the videos. The videos look like it's something out of a movie. They could make a movie out of this. And remember, the Democrats were the ones that put $25 million on Nicolás Maduro's capture. Donald Trump executed that. Donald Trump brought Nicolás Maduro into New York City with his wife. This is what he did. Again, you can't fault a man that says what he means and does what he says he's going to do. What I was saying in the last video, you can go on Google Earth and you can look up all the Venezuelan oil refineries on Google Earth. There's a lot. And I believe the United States military will be taking over those refineries. So now the Americans will be able to have more cheaper gas. This is all a chess move, man. It's all a chess move. That's all it is. It's all a chess move. People need to realize, you're playing. It's the game of chess. It's the game of chess. Yeah, Turan, what's up? You said you're always right. The news. You're always right. The news is fake. Yeah, I don't listen to legacy media. I'm mostly on X. I'll post this video on X. But most of the time, I don't listen to the legacy media. I don't listen to Canadian news because their ideology and their narrative and their biased opinions, I don't want to listen to their biased opinions. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm a guy that I believe you can stand on your own 2 feet, be self-sustaining and self-sufficient, and come up with your own ideas, original ideas. That's what I believe. And I'm going to keep believing this. When it comes to Nicolás Maduro, there's so much to read. I don't think I can pull up 2 screens while I'm streaming right now. But he said anytime you made videos, you reported the truth. Exactly. Well, I mean, this is what's going on. This is what's going on, right? I think now with so much stuff being exposed, I think I'm going to be pretty good to stream now at this point. But at the same time, you have to look at how did we get here? How did we get here? How do we get to 2026? Let me say that. Happy New Year to everybody. But how do we get to 2026? What is it? We're talking about affordability. We're talking about the Somali fraud. We're talking about the capture of Nicolás Maduro. We're talking about different things that affect the average day taxpayer. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about these things. Yeah, we're talking about these things. Yeah, I went to a lot of the Canada First protests. It says Canada's now putting caps on the immigration levels. Why didn't they do that years ago? You're bringing people over into Canada or America, and they don't even speak proficient English. You can say, well, certified, they can learn. Well, how come they're not learning? What about the truck driver that couldn't even speak proficiency in English and killed a whole family because he did a U-turn in the middle of the highway? What about him? He ruined his life and he ruined that family's life. All because of what? Open border policies that don't work? Open border policies that put pressure on the healthcare, housing, and jobs? That's what we're talking about? Open borders where people flood in, and they don't even respect our ideals of a country. I'm a heritage Canadian. You guys out there listening, you guys are probably heritage Americans or heritage Canadians. What sense does it make to have open borders? Open border policies that don't work. Young people are like, I want to get a job. I want to be able to go and have money so I can, go to the gym, or I can buy some food, or I can try to get a roof over my head. You're like, I don't want to rent an apartment and have a family in an apartment. I want to be able to buy a house. Right? Buy a house where you have open space, not in a 600 square foot apartment where you have no space, where your toilet is right next to your bed. Who wants that? Who wants that? So again, all of these things are hitting it's finally coming to a head, and people need to really understand what's going on. And as long as you watch my content, I'm going to put the facts on the table. You know what I'm saying? People say, "Well, how are you doing?" I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Even if the economy is shit, I'm still going to do all right. You understand that? So it is what it is. But the point is, young people are pissed off. Young men are pissed off. Young women are pissed off. People don't trust the system. Did you guys see those videos of the Somali community scamming the system? The Quality Layering Center? What the fuck is that? Hey guys, I'm layering? Hey guys, I'm layering. I'm layering, not learning. I'm layering. The Quality Layering Center in Minnesota that was supposed to be a daycare. Nick Shirley went into Minnesota, went to these daycares, and said, you guys have the windows all blacked out. The daycare says that it's open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., and it's completely closed. I can't even go in. I asked you, how do I register my little cousin, Joey? And what did you do? You didn't even give me any details. You didn't even give me a brochure. You didn't even tell me the steps that I need to take as a person that wants to enroll in your daycare. That's what you guys didn't do. And then guess what? All of a sudden the next day, somebody broke in and took all the documents. Someone broke in and took all the documents, right? Somebody broke in the next day of the Quality Layering Center and took all the all the documents from the establishment, the fake daycare center, the fake Quality Layering Center. This is insane. This is insanity. Did you see the guy, the Somali immigrant that came out there and he had $2,400 glasses on? He had $2,400 glasses on. Talking about, yeah, they broke in. He had a fresh fitted on and $2,400 glasses on. Talking about they broke in and took all the documents and took money the next day. People are now going in front of the Quality Layering Center and taking photos and saying, I pay taxes. I've been paying taxes ever since I started working at 15. and you guys come over from Somalia, India, or wherever, third worlders coming over to America and Canada and extracting from the system. And if you say, hey, what are you doing here? If you ask questions, guess what happens? They label you racist. They try to exile you from the conversation. They try to exclude you from what's going on. This is what they do. How can you exclude someone in their own fucking country? How can you do it? How can you exclude somebody in their own country? You can't. That's the whole point. You just came over here and you tried to exclude people because they're asking questions. I pay taxes. You don't. I'm entitled to asking questions. I'm entitled to asking questions to understand what the fuck you're doing. And so since people can't really debate it, because they really can't debate it, now look at their situation. They're upset. But again, the Quality Layering Center has nothing to do with the taxpayer. The 2026, there's a new thing, the 2026, let's all not pay taxes. So how will the system will cease to exist then if nobody wants to pay taxes, correct? How much was the Somali fraud? I think it was 1.2 billion or 2 billion. No, actually, guess what, guys? It was $9 billion of Somali fraud. Well, Certified, don't say that. You're saying that about the whole community. No, I'm talking about the fraud within the community. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Let's talk about Nicolás Maduro. United States Special Forces, the Delta Force with a bunch of drones and F-22s and F-35s and a bunch of different equipment. Were tracking Nicolás Maduro the whole time. The whole time they were tracking Nicolás Maduro. And they were picking on the 3rd of January the right time to go in and extract him from his own country. People don't want to talk about how he lost the election but didn't want to step down, and he couldn't, and nobody could do anything about it because he had the military on his side. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to condemn that. There were protests, all the protests in Canada, in Toronto, and Montreal, and some in America. And it's like, you guys all have the same sign, so clearly this is all being orchestrated. When have people actually defended a dictator? Why would anyone defend a dictator? Think how stupid that is. Nicolás Maduro, he lost the election. He did not want to step down. When Joe Biden and the Democrats were in power, they put a reward, a bounty on Nicolás Maduro for $25 million. Now that Trump's in office and he actually executed and raised the bounty to $50 million and actually extracted Nicolás Maduro into New York City, now everybody's upset. Why is that? Because it's Donald J. Trump? A man that says what he means and does what he says? People got it all messed up, don't they? Don't they? Look at the inflation that was in Venezuela. All the infrastructure in Venezuela, all the oil refineries, they need their infrastructure updated so they can actually export their product to the markets. They couldn't do it under Nicolás Maduro. That's why that's why Venezuelans are celebrating in Venezuela, because they're like, oh, maybe we finally have some freedom. I'm for freedom. I'm always going to be for freedom. Freedom, liberty. These people that are not for freedom or liberty, they're going to see what's coming for them. Because it doesn't stop. It will never stop. It will never, ever stop. Let me know what you guys think under this video. Certified True TV.